Namaskar, good evening. You are watching Rajya Sabha television. I am Smriti Rastogi with News Tonight. Let's begin the bulletin with the top headlines. Stage set for the 7th and last phase of Lok Sabha elections. 59 seats in 7 states and the Union Territory of Chandigarh to vote on Sunday. Election Commission deploys more than 700 companies of the paramilitary forces in West Bengal. Several heavyweights, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in the fray in the final phase of the polling. Opposition leaders step up talks ahead of the Lok Sabha results. TDP chief N. Chandrababu Naidu meets Rahul Gandhi in Delhi. Also holds talks with Sharad Pawar, Sharad Yadav and CPI leaders Sudhakar Reddy and D. Rajya. In Lucknow, Naidu discusses anti-BJP front with Akhilesh Yadav and Mayawati. Prime Minister Narendra Modi offers prayers at the Kedarnath temple, meditates at the holy cave near the shrine, also takes stock of the development work in the temple town devastated by floods in 2013. Prime Minister Modi also scheduled to visit Badrinath on Sunday. Security forces gunned down 4 militants in 2 separate encounters in Pulwama and Baramulla districts of Jammu and Kashmir. Slain terrorists include the one who was part of the group that killed Army Jawan Aurangzeb last year. And 6 years after courting Mars, ISRO plans 7 major space missions in the next 10 years, including a date with Venus in 2023. First, all the election news. Stage is set for the 7th and final phase of Lok Sabha polls. 59 constituencies across 7 states and Union Territory of Chandigarh will vote in the 7th phase on Sunday. Over 1,12,000 polling stations are in place for the smooth conduct of the polls. Over 10 crore voters will seal the fate of 918 candidates in this phase. Polling will take place at 13 seats each in UP and Punjab, 9 seats in West Bengal, 8 seats each in Bihar and Madhya Pradesh. Also voting in this phase are states of Himachal Pradesh, where voting will take place in all 4 Lok Sabha seats, 3 seats in Jharkhand and 1 seat in Chandigarh. Key candidates in this phase are Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeking re-election from Varanasi seat. Several union ministers are also in the fray, including Manoj Sinha from Ghazipur, Anupriya Patel from Mirzapur, Ravi Shankar Prasad from Patna Sahib, Ram Krupal Yadav from Patliputra, R.K. Singh from Ara, Hardeep Puri from Amritsar, Harsimrat Kaur Badal from Bhatinda and Ashwini Kumar Chaubey from Buxar. Other prominent faces in this phase are Shatrughan Sinha from Patna Sahib contesting on the Congress ticket, former Union Minister Upendra Kushwaha, former Lok Sabha Speaker Meera Kumar, Lalu Prasad Yadav's daughter Meesa Bharti and actor Sunny Deol. And by-polls for 4 Vidhan Sabha seats of Tamil Nadu will also be held on Sunday. 63 candidates are in the fray for the assembly seats of Sulur, Aravakuruchi, Otapidaram. And by-polls to 18 seats were held on 18th of April along with 38 Lok Sabha segments in the state. Heavy deployment of around 16,000 personnel has been ordered. And for more information on this, we'll go across to our correspondent Kriti Mishra, who is joining us from Varanasi. Kriti, Varanasi is a very VVIP seat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is seeking a re-election from Varanasi. What preparations, what special arrangements have been made for tomorrow's polling?
Well, absolutely, Smriti. So this is the penultimate phase of Uttar Pradesh elections for the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. And of course, the most high-profile constituency in the country right now, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is seeking a second term, is that of Varanasi. And of course, talking about the Uttar Pradesh for this phase, there are 13 constituencies that are going to polls, and security has been beefed up. Over 2 lakh security officials have been deployed. The Election Commission has made all arrangements. There are around 167 candidates in fray. The Election Commission has set up around 25,000 polling booths in around 13,000 polling centres, and of course to ensure that there's increased voter turnout, the Election Commission has carried out several programs under the sweep program launched by the Election Commission, and of course citizens groups, NGOs and also civil society members have come across and have motivated people to come out and exercise their franchise in large numbers. There are several high-profile constituencies in this particular phase in Uttar Pradesh, for instance Varanasi, Ghazipur, also Mirzapur and also Chandauli, from where BJP State President Mahendranath Pandey is also seeking re-election. So certainly a very high-profile contest and high-stakes battle for both the BJP and also the Congress and SP-BSP RLD alliance. And now, of course, the ball is in the court of the voters who will exercise their franchise tomorrow. Smriti?
Kriti, as far as the voters are concerned in Varanasi, what is the mood of the voters? What are they saying about tomorrow's polling? I believe there are certain first-time voters also who will be exercising their franchise tomorrow. What is their mood? What are they talking about?
Well, Smriti, let's first talk about the demography and also the topography of Eastern Uttar Pradesh, and particularly these 13 constituencies that are going to polls. Eastern Uttar Pradesh has stark differences from Western Uttar Pradesh. It is underdeveloped as compared to Western Uttar Pradesh because it shares proximity with National Capital Region. So in this phase, agriculture is the dominant occupation of the people. So as far as the farmers' issues, that of course is one of the major factors that will determine the minds of the voters when they go out and cast their votes. As far as the young voters are concerned, they are talking about employment and also talking about reforms in the education sector. After the Balakot airstrikes, the way we heard the issue of nationalism across the country, in Eastern Uttar Pradesh also this issue is resonating. So several issues are there, and it remains to be seen the voting pattern of the people here in Eastern Uttar Pradesh. Smriti?
What are we getting to learn from the political pundits about the Uttar Pradesh, about the entire, the 6 phases which have till now taken place? What are we getting to learn from them?
Well, in India, media parlance, we are calling Varanasi the battle royale, but political pundits are not really thinking in terms of a battle in Varanasi because they're saying that Prime Minister's victory from Varanasi is a foregone conclusion. The BJP, of course, had worked very hard to ensure that he registers a colossal victory margin. That is the focus of the BJP. But as far as the other seats are concerned, political pundits are saying that the caste arithmetic that the SP-BSP RLD alliance is banking on, that is going to be redoubtable. And of course, the BJP is also talking about development. It is talking about central sector schemes and also the magic and the charisma of its central leaders. So that is what the BJP is banking upon. Even the Congress is trying to resurrect itself, and the onus is on the General Secretary of the Congress Party for Eastern Uttar Pradesh, Priyanka Gandhi. She had campaigned extensively in this region. She held several road shows and also campaigns and rallies. So of course it is absolutely important for the Congress Party as well. But now the last decision and also the last word would be of the voters in this part of Eastern Uttar Pradesh. Smriti?
Thank you so much for joining us, Kriti, and giving us all the ground report from there in Varanasi. And moving on, Bihar is all set for the 7th and final phase of Lok Sabha polls on Sunday. About 1.52 crore voters will exercise their franchise in the 8 Lok Sabha constituencies. Election Commission has said more than 80,000 security and polling personnel will be on duty for free and fair polling. All arrangements are in place for the 7th and last phase of Lok Sabha elections in Bihar. According to the election officials, EVM and VVPAT machines have already been dispatched on all polling stations. Elaborate security arrangements have been made to ensure free and fair polling.
स्वच्छ मतदान के लिए हम लोगों को सुविधा के लिए तैयार रहेंगे। किसी तरह का कोई वोटिंग में गड़बड़ी न हो।
वोटिंग करा करके सही सुरक्षित निष्पक्ष और शाम को 6 बजे खत्म कर करके 6:30 बजे सील वगैरह कर करके हम लोग फिर वापस होकर के सही सुरक्षा से लेके जमा कर देंगे।
As many as 4 union ministers are among the 157 candidates in Bihar whose electoral fortunes will be decided on Sunday in the final phase of general elections. The most keenly watched contest is in Patna Sahib, where Ravi Shankar Prasad is seeking entry into the Lok Sabha.
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि बिहार में देखते हैं, सब तो चल ही रहा है। यहाँ मॉल चल रहा है सभी जगह और पेट्रोल पंप चल रहा है, एजेंसी खुल रहा है, सब चीज चल रहा है। ऐसा कुछ तो नहीं है। विकास जितना तेज में चाहिए उतना नहीं हुआ है।
तो हम लोग जात पात से उठ करके और कोई भी जात हो उसको मतलब अपने में मिला करके और उसको वोट देंगे।
According to the Election Commission, about 1.52 crore voters will exercise their franchise in the 8 Lok Sabha constituencies, including Patna Sahib, Patliputra, Ara, Buxar, Karakat, Sasaram, Nalanda and Jehanabad. 7 of these seats were won by the NDA last time.
So Bihar is ready for next and final phase of elections. And whoever comes to power after results come out on 23rd of May, the issue of migration due to unemployment and creating business opportunities and investment will be pertinent issues that the next government would have to address. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person D.K. Pandey in Patna of Bihar. And for more insights on this, we'll go across to our correspondent Akhilesh Suman, who is joining us from Patna. Akhilesh, tomorrow is the 7th and the last phase of elections. And you are there in Patna. Patna Sahib is one of the important constituency where Ravi Shankar Prasad, Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad is contesting from. What is the mood of the voters there? What are they talking about? You know, these are very interesting things in this point of time. In the 7th phase, narrative have a bit changed. And, interestingly, BJP has also started talking and telling people how the central government schemes has gone down to the people, how the Ujjwala Yojana, how Shauchalaya issue, and how all these things, Janadhan Yojana, everything has gone down to the people. Other than that, JDU has also starting telling that, special status of Bihar that they had forgotten for some time, but now at the fag end of election, they are also trying to push this issue that whoever comes to power next time, they have to address the special status issue. So interestingly, on the other side, if you go that the Grand Alliance people, they are speaking very vehemently about the lack of employment opportunities in Bihar, and they are also talking about because of distress migration, people of Bihar has to go to places like Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, even Gujarat, many places. And if they get opportunities here in Bihar, I think they don't have to migrate. So they are telling that, the Bihar, enough infrastructure has been made in Bihar, but only infrastructure cannot give them better life. They have to create a business here. They have to take factories, so that people can be employed locally. So interestingly, this phase of election is seeing, 4 cabinet ministers, sitting cabinet minister, and that is why I think people are talking about these issues. And other than these 4 cabinet ministers, there is another minister who was there in NDA government, but now he is with Grand Alliance. So I think that is why people are quite excited and they are raising their voices and they are expecting that after this election, these issues need to be addressed, because Bihar is now at a plateau where law and order situation is good, electricity is good, roads are in better shape, and that even people who have migrated, they also want to come back to this state. So I think, these are the issues in the last phase of election. But right. Other than that, one of the interesting thing as far as Ravi Shankar Prasad is facing here, because he is confronting his old friend and ally, Shatrughan Sinha, and Shatrughan Sinha is now changing his tune. He was in BJP earlier, but now he is speaking against BJP. So people, the traditional voters of BJP are a bit in the fix that whom to choose. But I think Ravi Shankar Prasad is quite active, even though this is the first time he is fighting Lok Sabha election. But as far as his campaigns are concerned, I can see that he is quite vigorous and connecting to the people right from Gandhi Banan, where I am standing, because this is the place where, people come from this city for morning walk, even evening walk. And you know that he is moving from one quarter to another quarter of the city and also rural area. So it is very interesting. Other than that, Patna Sahib, if you go to the neighboring, Patliputra and Ara, where R.K. Singh and Ramkripal Yadav are fighting consecutively from BJP, they are confronting with a different type of situation, because there is one organization, political party, CPIML, who is supporting, RJD in Patliputra, and CPIML is being supported by RJD in Ara. So RJD and CPIML did not gel well earlier, but now they are gelling well. So it is interesting situation in the 7th phase, and competitive politics is at the peak. People from different political parties will, I think, manage to get their voters at the polling booths, and I think that this time, polling percentage may get higher in this phase as far as this all these 8 constituencies are concerned.
Right. Right. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for joining us and giving us all those details. So, indeed, as Akhilesh was telling us, the stakes are high for the 7th and the last phase of elections. Moving on, the Chief Election Commissioner, Sunil Arora, on Saturday played down differences in the poll panel, saying election commissioners are not expected to be clones of each other. Arora, in a statement on Election Commissioner Ashok Lavasa's purported letter to him, said, the 3 members of the Election Commission are not expected to be template or clones of each other. There have been so many times in the past where there has been a vast diversion of views, as it can and should be. The statement also said that it needs to be clarified categorically and unambiguously that this is purely an internal matter of ECI, and as such, any speculation in this regard should be eschewed. And the meeting had already been scheduled on Tuesday, that is 21st of May, to discuss this matter. Lavasa, who has rescued himself from meetings where decisions pertaining to the Model Code of Conduct are decided, wrote at least 3 letters to the CEC to accept his demand for including minority decisions in poll bodies' final orders. Ahead of the last phase of polling, TDP chief N. Chandrababu Naidu held a flurry of meetings with opposition leaders on Saturday, including Congress President Rahul Gandhi, BSP chief Mayawati and Samajwadi Party leader Akhilesh Yadav, in an apparent bid to rally support for a non-BJP government at the centre. TDP chief also met Nationalist Congress Party chief Sharad Pawar, LJD leader Sharad Yadav and leaders of the CPI party. He then flew to Lucknow and met Samajwadi Party and Bahujan Samaj Party chiefs. And with that, we'll slip into a very quick break. More news and updates on the other side. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching The Big Picture with me, Frank Rosen Pereira. From policy decisions to global economic issues. What shape is the world economy going to take, really?
The Chinese slowdown occurs, the rest of the world will also
follow. From landmark judgments to international relations.
Is there any bank who will open an account for a transgender person with transgender identity? Absolutely not.
A debate show like none other.
Maybe I will announce here, and no one before you knows, that Mr. Modi will visit Palestine.
The Big Picture with Frank Rausen Pereira at these times on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. A day after campaigning for the Lok Sabha elections in 2019 came to a close, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday landed in Kedarnath in Rudraprayag district of Uttarakhand for a two-day trip. In Kedarnath, the Prime Minister, dressed in saffron robes, was photographed meditating in a holy cave situated near Mandakini River, about 2 kilometers from Kedarnath temple. And earlier in the day, the Prime Minister also offered prayers at the Kedarnath temple. Dressed in a traditional Pahari outfit, Prime Minister Modi performed puja at the Himalayan temple for around half an hour and also undertook circumambulation of the shrine. He also took stock of the ongoing development works in the temple town. This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's fourth visit to the temple dedicated to Lord Shiva in the last 2 years. He will offer prayers at the Badrinath temple on Sunday. Stringent security arrangements have been made for the Prime Minister's visit. And getting you some more developments, admit cards have again been issued for Odisha candidates for NEET 2019. National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test 2019 was postponed in the wake of Cyclone Foni in Odisha. Earlier, the entrance examination was scheduled for 5th of May, but due to the cyclone, the date was changed to 20th of May. For those candidates who have the examination center in Odisha, the NEET 2019 exam will be held from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Monday, that is 20th of May. And news from Jammu and Kashmir: in the last 78 hours, 10 militants have been killed in the encounter with the security forces in the Pulwama and Sopore districts of Jammu and Kashmir. The security forces gunned down 4 militants. The terrorists were identified as Shaukat Ahmed Dar from Panjgam, Irfan Ahmed from Sopore, Muzaffar Ahmed from Pulwama. The 3 militants were associated with Hizbul Mujahideen. Shaukat Dar has an old history. He has been involved in several terrorist attacks. Continuous combing operations are being organized in Kashmir. On Thursday, a total of 6 militants were killed in the shootout in Pulwama and Shopian. And United Nations Refugee Agency and Bangladesh government have issued identity cards to more than 270,000 Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh on Friday. The UNHCR spokesperson informed that the identity cards have been issued after registration of Rohingya refugees from Myanmar. ISRO Chairman Dr. K. Sivan said that the agency is working on 7 interplanetary missions, all of which would be launched within a decade. Speaking on the sidelines of Yuvika, the Young Scientist Program for school students at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, ISRO Chairman said that the missions would include Mars Orbiter Mission 2, Chandrayaan 3, a mission to Venus, ExpoSat Planetary Exploration, Aditya L1, among others. Mission Aditya L1 will study the sun's corona and could be launched in mid-2020. It would also help in understanding climate change, while Aditya L1 and ExpoSat missions have been defined and finalized, while the Mars Orbiter 2 and Chandrayaan 3 are still in the planning stage.
Yes, sir, that is like what we have is already we have that Aditya L1. Then that the planet exploration, the ExpoSat we are planning. Then MOM 2 is the thing we are planning. Then Chandrayaan 3 3 is planning. Then we are having that is the exo planet, this one, that is assessment, exo world. That also we are working out. We are planning to go to Venus. And Venus, that's a very good opportunity. That is, we have announced the opportunity for the scientific community in India as well as abroad. And for the payload, there's a huge number of more than 20 payloads are coming. So there's a lot of interest in that Venus. That is we are planning.
And that's all we have for you in this edition of News Tonight. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.
Thank you.